Madam Mayor, you want to go ahead and start and he'll log on shortly?
Yes, ma'am, we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll ask everyone to mute their microphones unless you're speaking, please, and I will start the meeting. Welcome to the City of West Miami Special City Commission virtual Zoom meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 28th. It is 11:40 a.m. To join the meeting with Zoom video conferencing, please go to https://zoom.us/j/3255236059. Madam Clerk, if you will please read into the record page 2 of the agenda, which are the instructions to participate in the virtual commission meeting.
Instructions to participate in the virtual commission meeting. The city commission meeting will be held as a virtual meeting with elected officials. The city staff participating through video conferencing. This virtual meeting will be held in the Zoom platform. Members of the public may join the meeting via Zoom at https://zoom.us/j/3255236059 to test your connection to Zoom by clicking on the following link, http://zoom.us/test. Instructions to access the virtual commission meeting by phone. First, dial any of these numbers within the United States: 1-301-715-8592, 1-253-215-8782. When you connect, a machine will ask you for the meeting ID, then dial 325-523-6059, followed by a pound sign. That'll be all, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call, please.
Item 1 of the agenda, special agenda, roll call. Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón,
Here.
Commissioner Candida Blanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes,
Here.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez. You're on mute, Commissioner Suarez, but I noted your attendance. Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Madam Clerk, hold on, please. I have lost my entire screen. Please bear with me. Please bear with me one moment.
Yes, me too. I see a picture of the park.
Yes, we have all.
So we see a picture of the playground and, okay, we're back. Are we all back?
Yes.
Nod your head if you're back, because I can see everyone now. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. If we can, I'm sorry, did you finish with the roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's proceed with item 2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the
and to
republic
the republic which stands one
One
nation
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with
Liberty
liberty and justice
Justice
for all.
all.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 3, public comments. As of this time, we have not received any public comments, Madam Mayor.
Madam Clerk, is there anyone requesting to join the meeting? Do you have any notification that anyone is waiting to join the meeting?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Throughout the meeting, Madam Clerk, I am monitoring that, but if you see someone
Madam Mayor, you froze.
I froze.
You froze.
Mr. Q, can you hear me?
Now you're okay.
We can hear you now, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Penna, I can see you twice. You're on two screens.
Oh, one of them is Juan the Great and the other one's just the regular one.
I'm on my phone and on my computer.
Okay, Mr. Q has just advised me that our internet connection is unstable. So we may freeze every now and then. Bear with me. If like you just did, if I freeze, tell me. We'll just have to wait and give the system a moment to reconnect. With a show of shaking your head, can everyone see and hear me? Okay, good. Okay, we're good. All right, Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, next item on the agenda, proceed.
Item 4, special agenda items. Item 4A. This is a discussion in reference to next week's expected announcement of Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Jimenez to reopen parks.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I hope by now we have all read our package. In our package, we have the Moving to a New Normal initiative. We should have focused on the parks page because we do not have any boating waterways or golf in our city. So the most important page in that section would be page one of, I'm sorry, the parks page of that particular attachment. And then I also asked the clerk to print out and be sure everyone had Mayor Carlos Jimenez's Miami-Dade County Emergency Order 2120. So I hope by now we have all had time to read that so that we know exactly what the county's initiative is. County Mayor has advised that as of 6 a.m. tomorrow, county parks will be open from sun up to sundown with restrictions, many restrictions as detailed in our package. The manager and I have discussed along with the park director and planned for if this were to happen in our city, we cannot be less restrictive than the county, but each municipality can be more restrictive as they see fit. So with that said, let's discuss the possible reopening of our parks. I guess even before I even say that, we've got Garden Club, we've got Cooper, we've got a recreation center, and we've got, I believe it's called Lorraine Park. What is our pocket park? Lorraine Park.
Lorraine Park.
Obviously Garden Club, since it is not a lot of open space, the open space is mainly is playground equipment, and playground equipment is one of the things that has to remain closed. So I do not foresee opening Garden Club at this time, and or Lorraine, because Lorraine is just the toddler playground equipment, and that has to remain closed. So with that said, I will open up the table for discussion on this. And I know Madam Manager, you have been on calls weekly with the Managers Association. And John Michael, I know you've been on calls with the county parks. So I'm going to yield to both of you for your input, I guess, before we even open up for discussion from the table. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Commission. Good morning to everybody. And my scheduled meeting is for this afternoon at 2:30 with the Managers Association, at which time I'm going to request that a survey of municipalities be conducted and forwarded to all the managers so that we can see who's going to be slowly moving towards that new norm. That being said, We do know what the executive Miami-Dade County Emergency Order 2120 provides for, and obviously we are also aware that some municipalities may want to consider not opening at this time, like the city of Miami, from what I read late last evening. So I've discussed this with John Michael Lopez, our Parks Director, and I think we could either consider, or you could either consider opening both the recreation center and maybe limiting the hours and Cooper Park, or first phase in one park, get some comments and some feedback, and then moving towards the second week, the opening of the second park. There are options that you can entertain while following the emergency order. Just for your ready reference, and I believe John Michael is now listening on the to the conversation. He's part of the meeting. We have agreed that staff will be necessary only because we're moving to a new norm that will provide some sort of structure for our parks and for people walking, and we recommend that we stay with the social distancing guidelines that should provide for a one lane or going one way to make it easier for small groups to observe distancing while walking, and it will limit, in such a small area like Cooper Park, it will limit somebody bumping into each other. But John Michael and I have had numerous conversations, and Mayor, we've updated you on those regarding the use of our existing manpower and park employees to monitor both parks. So that being said, I don't know how you want to proceed, but we are prepared in the event that you choose to open one park now, one later, or the two of them at this time. It's entirely up to your directives. I can't, Madam Mayor, I can't.
Oh, okay, I was still muted. You did touch upon one of the most important parts from Mayor Carlos Jimenez. If we do this, it has to be enforced. We have to enforce the restrictions. If not, we don't do it. So, and you've said, as you've told me, and as John Michael has told me, we will have the staff to enforce the restrictions in any of the parks that we deem okay to open at this time. So that was the most important thing. So with that said, I'm going to open it up to the table for your comments or questions on the possible reopening of our city parks, possibly to start as early as sunup tomorrow. I'll open up the table. Please raise your hand or signal to me that you need to speak and unmute your microphone. Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, go ahead, sir.
I'll go first because I want to hear what my colleagues have to say. My opinion is that the recreation center might be a little premature, only because I've read through, like all of you, the mayor's orders from the county, and there's a lot of restrictions that seem a little hard to imagine are enforceable, especially when it comes to the basketball courts and things like that. So I would like to see that play out a little more in the county before we open ours. As you said, Garden Club Park, I don't think that's a question right now because it's all playgrounds, which is restricted anyways. And then Cooper Park, I think I've been on the fence with this. It's sort of weighing the potential for people to breathe their air coming across each other, or coming, I guess not at each other, because we're going to enforce one-way walking, but you know, when they're passing each other, weighing that against people being able to walk more safely. As you know, everyone's walking on the streets. Obviously, in a park, it's a more safer walk. So I've been weighing that. I'm erring on. I'm sort of split. I'm curious to see what my colleagues say. But for Cooper Park, obviously, my opinion would be just as a safer place to walk, and we have to enforce that one-way walking and distancing in that respect.
Vice Mayor, thank you. And if I could help with your concerns, one of the restrictions are the use of face masks. So if you are going to be playing in the park with your children and or walking, I'm speaking of Cooper Park, and or walking on our trail, you must wear a face mask. The exceptions are children under 2 and those who have difficulty breathing. Well, if you have difficulty breathing, you shouldn't be walking in the park anyway, is my opinion. But I mean, those with underlying conditions of difficulty breathing, it would seem to me the safest place for you to be would be home. But anyone, aside from those exceptions, would have to wear a mask in the park. It also says jogging or running or strenuous activities. I'm leaning towards if you want to be in Cooper Park, you need to wear a face mask, irregardless, except for those 2 exceptions. The playground equipment will remain closed. And that's where I would ask, obviously, Public Works to be sure they police tape off the playground equipment, police tape off the exercise equipment. The gazebo has to remain closed. And I would actually like to even put out there that we police tape off our picnic tables, because one of the restrictions is no picnics as well. So anyone else have any comments? Mr. Penna, go ahead, please, sir.
I'm gonna share some pictures with you. That's what I was doing earlier, but I'll let you see them now.
Are you sharing those yet, sir?
I am now.
Oh, that's the one we saw first. Okay, so you have roped off all the swings. Oh, wonderful. Okay.
I can't see anything.
Mr. Penna is showing pictures of Cooper Park where the swing set, the sand play area, the entire swing set sand area has been cordoned off. Mr. Penna, what else? I did not see the playground equipment, but I would imagine you've taped off both playground equipments and the exercise area as well. Okay, the picnic tables have already been taped off.
And the gazebo is also taped off, and that will be where the rec employee will sit, viewing the whole park.
Perfect. Mr. Penna, I don't see, and I'm not sure. Please also tape off the water fountain. We cannot have the water fountain accessible to the public as either.
It'll be turned off.
Okay, now the bathrooms, the county order says they can be opened. I would imagine that's, again, we cannot be less restrictive, we can be more. So, we can obviously discuss that. Thank you for sharing those pictures with us, Mr. Penna. Does anyone have any questions on what they saw from Mr. Penna? Commissioner Blanes, were you able to finally see that?
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay, he's
I can pretty much picture what has been described. And
there's police tape over everything, obviously, except the open green area. Pretty much.
I like to
to hear what the police chief and the mayor have to say about this. What is their take on this?
Okay. Chief Avila. There you go. You're unmuted. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning to all. I mean, if the county is opening up the park and along with the restrictions, I see no objection to it. I guess as long as we follow, there's one thing in bullet number 9 in the county documents, it does talk about facial coverings shall be worn while at the park. And it would be bullet number 9, although it's not numbered. And as far as the bathroom is concerned, the county is requiring an attendant to be close to the restrooms, and it has to be cleaned every 2 hours. So I don't know if anybody saw that from the county bullets.
I did, sir. And on that, the facial coverings, that's exactly what I was talking about. The facial coverings shall be worn except children under the age of 2 and persons who have trouble breathing due to a chronic pre-existing condition. My take, or persons engaged in strenuous physical activity. Again, we can be more restrictive. I would like to see facial coverings worn even during strenuous physical activity, because that's when you're going to be breathing the hardest. So if you want to come to the park, to our park at least, and do strenuous physical activity, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wear a mask, would be my opinion on that. The children under 2, I guess we'd have to leave that up to the parent. I don't know about that one. The exception of if you have trouble breathing, well, you shouldn't be in the park. So I would like to see everyone who enters Cooper Park or wishes to partake in the opening of Cooper Park and they're on that property, that they have a facial covering. As far as a bathroom attendant, I think that was meant more for bathrooms that have multiple use, whereas we only have only one person at a time can go in. But yes, we will have to clean the bathroom more than just once a day if we so decide to open it. But I don't believe an attendant would be necessary. And whoever's going to be in the gazebo, whatever staff is going to be in the gazebo, they can see the bathroom. So if there's any people any residents waiting in line for the bathroom, they obviously need to observe social distancing, and the park attendant will be able to see that from the gazebo. So that would be my, Mr. Penna, did you, put arrows on the walking path yet, or were you waiting for this meeting to take place before doing so?
Correct. We're waiting till this.
Guys.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Mr. Attorney, yes, go ahead, sir.
I unfortunately lost the video here. All of a sudden.
Has anyone else lost video? Shake your head, yes or no. I see everyone. Okay, Mr. Attorney, it seems you're the only one that's lost video.
Well, I can hear you.
We can see you.
And we can see you. We can see you and hear you. And
Pepe, you probably changed screens.
I haven't touched anything.
Somehow you did.
Are you on a tablet or on a laptop?
Laptop.
Okay, go to the bottom of your screen. Go to the bottom, click on, and see if you touched stop video. I don't know that would matter, but scroll over the bottom of your screen and you'll see where.
Here.
Are you there? You good now?
Here.
Okay, perfect. All right. John Michael, yes. Chief, you'll be after John Michael. Go ahead, John Michael.
Good morning, everybody. We're only opening Cooper because here at the rec center, any bathroom that we would open, well, aside from the ones behind the baseball field, those are single use, but the old bathrooms are multiple people can use those.
Yeah, so if and when we were to open the rec, John, I would say we should not open those bathrooms. We should only have the single use bathroom. open. My opinion.
Okay.
Agree.
People have called, somebody called already for tennis. So if we are open, I'm assuming that the people attending here would like to use the facilities. So there's gonna be a lot of, mask or no mask issues. The county in the meetings, they were saying that if they're just playing single tennis, it wasn't a big deal to have the mask on. But, we have much more facility. People are going to want to be on the field. I don't know what we want to do about that.
Okay, and you're speaking obviously just of the rec.
I'm speaking of the rec, yeah.
All right, this might be a question for the attorney, the manager, John, I don't know. I'm gonna put this question out there because it's been on my mind ever since hearing the possible opening of our parks. Can we limit the use of the recreation center? I'm not talking about Cooper Park. Can we limit the use of the recreation center at first to just City of West Miami residents? And the reason I am going to ask that question is because I would rather not have a resident not be able to use our park because a non-resident is using it. So I'm just putting that out there. I would like to see that, but I guess I have to yield to the manager, the attorney, and John, and maybe I guess I could even expand on that a little bit more. If you have the family of a child that's already enrolled in our after-school program or our summer program, obviously we could also avail the park to City of West Miami residents and to those children and their families, but limit the use to outside of that for now. And I'm open to anyone who has comments on that.
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
Madam Mayor, may I?
yes.
If you are considering limiting it to children with family, obviously you're meaning City of West Miami residents, the family, correct? That would be a child, sibling, parents, grandparents. So, and that would be my question. Does the family have to reside in the City of West Miami for that child or that young adult to be able to use the amenities at the park?
Well, first and foremost, I started with thinking I just wanted to open it up to just West Miami residents. Because like I said, I don't want my tennis courts or my basketball court, because that's limited participation. You can only have 3 persons in a half court and they have to bring their own basketball. We cannot, one of the restrictions is you cannot use the rec center equipment. You have to bring your own. So you got to bring your own tennis racket, your own basketball, your own soccer ball, if you want to kick a ball in the field, your own football, if you want to throw a football around. So my first thought was if I could limit it to just West Miami, because I don't want a resident to not be able to use our amenities and our center if it's being used by a non-resident. And then I thought if that went well, we could then open it up to that family and child that is already enrolled in our recreation center summer program and after school program. Again, those are just my thoughts. I wanted to put them out there and get everyone's input. Now that's talking just the rec. Okay, we're talking two things. Cooper Park and the rec, 2 different things. Yes, go ahead.
Madam Mayor, and I think this question is going to be should be directed to our city attorney. We have 2 parks that are public parks. One of them, which is the rec center, Mr. Villalobos, receives money from the taxpayers. 1 mil of dedicated taxpayer dollar goes to fund the operation of the recreation center. However, it is considered a public park because we do receive revenue from grants and other income sources. Can we limit those, even on a temporary basis? Can we limit the use of our public parks to only West Miami residents?
No.
Okay, I have heard and read that other municipalities are. Okay, for instance, we're talking tennis courts, which we have a tennis court in our recreation center. Not saying whether it's right or wrong, but they are being limited to that city's residents only. So with that said, any other comments or?
I just want to say one thing after that point. I totally understand wanting to limit it to the West Miami residents. I would have liked to as well. But the other cities may or may not, because cities can do what they want with the laws too. May or may not have taken county money in the operations or in the building of their centers. So, for example, Coral Gables and Youth Center, they have limitations to but I don't believe that they have the same restrictions we do when it comes to our rec.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Question on that, just so I can be clear in my mind. The county money was for the multi-purpose building, yes?
The last funding that we received from the recreation center is for the building, for the Rebecca Sosa multi-purpose facility building, was county money, but we do receive state grants from FERDAP for the improvements of the park itself, of the City of West Miami Recreation Center. Those
State. Okay. Okay, and with that said, I failed to mention, obviously the recreation center building must remain closed. It's as if we do the rec. The recreation center building must remain closed. The multi-purpose building must remain closed. The pavilion must remain closed. And obviously the playground equipment as well. The weight room, all that would remain closed. Would only be opening the open space area. Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Anyone else? I want to hear from everyone. I want everyone's input on this, because again, we can be more restrictive. We can't be less, but we can be more. So I want everyone's input, please. Commissioner Blanes. Michael, you'll be next. Commissioner Blanes, go ahead, sir.
I think that's going to create some issues. We're going to have some problems, I think. If you're a citizen, a resident, a taxpayer, and you go to the park and you want your children to get out and play and they can't use the playgrounds, but they can be there. I don't know. I think personally, I would have some issues. I would have some problems. I would want my child to go and be able to play in the playground. So I don't know. I don't know. We either keep it closed or we open it up. How are you going to enforce that? You're going to have someone from the rec staff there, and I don't know. I think we're opening up a can of worms.
Okay, I can understand where you're coming from. Let me see if I can address the playground.
I think that's going to irritate some people. I think we either open it, or we keep it open the whole thing, or we just keep it closed.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't know. I see some issues that could be fomenting.
I understand, Commissioner. Let me see if I can address the playground issue, the playground equipment portion of your concern. The playground equipment portion would mean you'd have to have multiple children congregating in a very small space, which is on the playground equipment. And you've got them touching all over the place, the playground equipment. So that is where I think the county mayor put that restriction in for the playground equipment to remain closed because of the touching aspect of it. The metal portion, obviously the germs retain more or longer on metal surfaces. And the fact that the children will be not confined, but in a smaller area versus in the open space field. And John Michael, I believe you had a comment on, yeah,
Can I say something about
yes,
that?
yes, hold on, John Michael, go ahead, sir.
Then you might as well close the park to children.
Okay,
Because they can be playing in the playground area, or they're going to be playing in the open space area. And what are you going to do? You're going to tell children not to play? What's the park for if it's not for children? So, I mean, I don't know. What are we doing? What are we saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I think what we would be saying is we give the parents a little bit more space than their backyard to have the children run around.
So they're going to be running around, and they're going to be, on top of each other, and children are going to be children. So
Understood.
I mean,
Understood.
I don't know. I don't know.
Another restriction, if I may, is the family units. So let's say I have a family of whatever, 2 or 3. That family unit must maintain social distance from the next family unit. So John Michael, I believe you had something you wanted to say, sir. Go ahead.
Madam Mayor, if I may interrupt a minute. I think
okay, can I let John Michael go first, sir? He's been waiting. Okay, thank you, John. Mr. Attorney, go ahead, sir.
Madam Mayor, I think that Commissioner Blanes has a very valid point, and I think that he asked something to assume what I would say that would be some sort of a motion. Instead of moving from one issue to the other without resolving, I think that we're going to be all over the place. I think that I concur with Commissioner Blanes that that might create issues. So you should discuss and finish that.
Well, it's to do with the opening or not opening of the parks. That is the question at hand. Commissioner Blanes gave his reasonings for the not opening, but I need to hear from everyone, because the question at hand, the only thing on the agenda is whether we follow the county protocol of opening parks or not. So I need to hear from everyone on that.
Okay.
So that what Commissioner Blanes brought up, just one aspect of that. The question is, do we open our parks up tomorrow? Yes or no?
We're opening up ourselves to have to be, how we're going to enforce this. The only way to enforce this, if we open the park, is that we're going to just have to be very restrictive. We are going to have to either have the police, or we are either going to have our staff from John Michael staff to impose our restrictions on the residents. And I don't think that's going to go over very, very well. I mean, there's all kinds of demonstrations all throughout the country about people, about their rights being violated, and so on and so forth. People are upset. People are angry, that now we open up our park and now they take their children there, and all of a sudden, oh no, you can't use the playground. I don't know. I think we're going to have some issues, and how we're going to enforce that. We can encounter a lot of resistance, and I don't know. I get the feeling that something that might not be that good might come out of it, These are just my thoughts. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, I understand. Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to let John Michael speak now because he's been waiting. John Michael, go ahead, sir.
2 things. What can be done here is the same thing that's being done as Cooper, is rope off the playground. When it comes to the playground, they don't let the kids just go in there by themselves. Parents into the playground and picking up other kids that might fall and holding them. Second is something that the county mentioned in those meetings was, I don't know, maybe doing a mass email, sending out these regulations so people know what they're walking into, as opposed to them finding out when they get here, and have these posted. They've also sent some signage, but it has Miami-Dade County posted on it. And they've sent some like in-house training things that they're doing with their staff regarding all these issues. But one thing that they did say was to get this out to the people that will be visiting us. It's not going to reach everyone, but you at least have a better idea of what you're walking into instead of seeing that.
Absolutely, John. Thank you. That was exactly what the manager and I had discussed in preparation for this meeting, that if we decided to open our parks, we would notify the residents immediately upon completion of the meeting, so they would know that the parks would be opened, when, how, where, and exactly how it would be done. And we would have signage in addition to park staff enforcing the restrictions. So absolutely. Yes, John, go ahead.
I believe the playground issue is not so much, it's just, it makes a place for people to congregate. And the idea is to keep everybody separated. So I don't think it's as much about the playground usage. I think it's an automatic draw for everybody to go straight to that place.
Right, and it would be roped off. Yes, Commissioner. Neri, did I see your hand? You're on mute. Unmute. No. Okay. Commissioner Blanes, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if we send out a message to our residents telling them that the park is open, what do you think the first thing they're going to do? They're going to grab their children and they're going to head off to the park. When they get to the park, we're going to hand them a flyer, and the flyer is going to say, your children can't play.
No, so the message
they cannot jump on top of each other. They cannot congregate. They cannot play whatever. I mean, how do you keep children from not being close to each other and playing? Is that what we're trying to get done here? And how is that going to be enforced?
The open park message would go out with the restrictions. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
If we send out the message about the park opening, it will go out with the restrictions. As far as maintaining your social distance between each family unit, obviously we'll have park staff there to oversee that. But I would think the parents would see to that their family unit remains socially distant from the next family unit that's there. My thoughts. Vice Mayor Padron, go ahead, sir.
Madam Mayor, as you know, my position is to currently keep the rec closed. I believe Commissioner Blanes' opinion is, with the restrictions we have now, imposed by the county, that we should probably keep it closed, if I'm understanding the position. Your position, I'm not sure. I don't think you've said it. Can we get sort of a greater idea from the rest of our commission, because this might be a mood issue?
Of course, yes. And I just want to clarify, Commissioner Blanes, are you talking about both parks, or when you say not open, is it just one versus the other? Just so I can clarify.
I think I'm in a Twilight Zone episode, and I'm pinching myself trying to figure out if it's true or not. I mean, what are we saying here? What is the rec for, and what is Cooper Park for, if it's not for children to go there and play and enjoy themselves? They've been cooped up in their homes, apartments, and we're going to open up our parks, and what are they going to do? They're not going to be able to use them as they were meant to be used. And if that does happen, how are we going to stop them, and how are we going to enforce that?
Okay, so you answered my question. You are referring to both parks. I wasn't sure if you're referring to both. Okay.
I mean, what do you do when you go to a park? You run and you sweat and you work out and you play and you have fun. You're a kid. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna want to run. You're gonna want to jump on top of your friend, and you guys are gonna want to play. How are we gonna keep them from doing that?
Understood, sir.
I don't know. I just sense that there's just a lot of controversy in what we're trying to do. Either we keep it closed, or we open it up and we don't have any restrictions.
Okay, understood. So, Vice Mayor, to answer your question, Commissioner Blanes, his thoughts are concerning both parks, both Cooper and the rec. Correct, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, unless our park director, has a plan or a way to devise, something that can you know, that he can implement at the rec, where it can be open and it can be utilized as it should.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. John Michael, yes, go ahead, sir.
We can't be less restrictive, so the issue would be opening or closing. Because those restrictions are coming from the county, so we can't be less restrictive than they are.
Right, we can only be
So it's
more
just a
restricted, that's
open-
correct.
so it's on- Right.
Oh, so John, are you saying that if we open, it's gotta be both? Not one or the other? Is that
Oh,
what
no,
you're
no,
saying?
no.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying as far as usage, the restrictions that are implemented on the parks.
Right. We can
can't
only be
let them
more,
do
we
whatever.
can only be more restrictive, yes.
Right.
Yes, and you are correct. I guess I'm gonna ask, has everyone read the county's emergency order? Do we know what the county's restrictions are? Has my commission read the emergency order? Yes, can I have by a show of heads, who's read the emergency order?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, go ahead.
I think it's too soon to open it. It's too soon. We're talking about virus. We shouldn't open now. We should wait.
Okay, and are you referring to
That's my
both?
opinion.
Are we referring to both parks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Blanca. Anyone else? Commissioner Suarez, I haven't heard from you. I need to hear from everyone.
Well, I'd like to know your opinion, because you're the mayor.
All right, I'll give my opinion after I've heard from everybody else, sir.
Well, but you are the mayor, so you should tell us what you think, so I know what all the other people know. But I'm listening, and I'd like to know what your opinion is.
Have you read the emergency order from Mayor Carlos Jimenez, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so you know all the restrictions that that are there already said. We can be more restrictive, but not less restrictive.
But your opinion, which is your opinion, more or less? No, more. We cannot put less, more or what? What is your opinion? Your opinion is open or what?
I haven't, once I hear from my entire table, I will give my opinion. I haven't heard from you, sir. I've heard from staff. I've heard from everybody else. So what is your opinion?
My opinion is, if I see too many problems and too many opinions, and you don't know, keep it until the 15th. And the 15th, see if we can open up completely. May 15th. Wait until May 15th. See what happened. And then you open the whole thing.
Okay, so you're saying to not open our parks until May 15?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. I heard from PD. I heard from John Michael. I know you've given me what you've heard in the meetings. So let me ask you, your staff at both Cooper and the Recreation Center, do you feel that we will be capable of adhering to the restrictions placed by Miami-Dade County, to their restrictions? And if we make ours more restrictive, will we be able to enforce those restrictions with said staff?
I don't know how people are going to react to all these things, and people don't really listen very well. So I don't know, as far as people not keeping their distance, what's the next step, in that? Because you have a lot of adults out there. You're going to have older people. Most of our staff is young, and sadly, that goes that people usually don't listen very well, and they don't pay attention. So, what's the next step? Somebody doesn't listen twice to having a mask. Are we calling PD? Are we,
Chief, you're next. Chief, you'll be next.
We're going to have, as it is right now, 2 people there at all times at Cooper, and then I'll be here at the park. That's the idea.
Okay, thank you, John. Chief, go ahead, sir.
Whatever decision is
Can't hear him.
He
They-
froze. Chief, repeat because you froze mid-sentence. Repeat what you said.
Whatever decision is made here today, whether to open or to close based on the restrictions, will be available for calls. The park attendants can call us if they have a problem with somebody who doesn't want to follow whatever the restrictions are. I could foresee a lot of visiting of the parks. They're a natural watch order for us anyways. But yes, they can call us and we'll come by and we'll try to reason with.
Okay, you froze mid-sentence, Chief, but I think I got the gist of your thoughts. You're still frozen, Chief. Major, you're not frozen. Would you like, the Chief is still frozen. Unmute,
Ana
unmute.
and Elsa.
Okay, go ahead, Major. The Chief is gone. I don't see him anymore. Go ahead, Major.
Thank you. Yeah, he loves, actually, I was going to tell you all that is his favorite movie. He loves Frozen. Don't tell him I said that.
He's back. He hears you.
I heard you.
Go ahead, Major.
So listen, I agree with the chief. I think that, yeah, we're going to be able to be available there for calls. We will be called. There's no doubt about it. I think the issue with Cooper Park, unlike, let's say, a county park like Tropical, which is a lot bigger, you have more area that people can kind of spread out. So Cooper Park, being that it's a small park and you're going to have people running, you're going to have them running in one same direction because Mr. Pena's going to have to put arrows down. It's going to be a work in progress. And I think that it's going to take people a long time to kind of get into the groove here. So I don't know that in this scenario, in this instance, that the juice is worth the squeeze, but whatever you all decide, we'll just follow suit.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, this is how I foresee, if we open the park, how we would handle enforcement. The park at John staff would be there. Let's just say someone comes in without a mask. The staff from the gazebo, they would not leave the gazebo. From the gazebo, they would make sure that that person knows they either have to put on a mask or leave the park. Let's say they tell them that. The person still doesn't adhere. Let's say they give them one more, chance, sir, madam, you have to have a mask on or you'll have to leave. If the person at that point doesn't adhere, at that point, they would they would not confront the person. They would pick up the phone and call a number that the chief will work out with the staff, whatever number they would have to call for police. Is that how you would foresee it, Chief and John Michael? Is that how you envision that process working? Yes, Chief, yes?
I missed a portion of it, but yes, we'll have, they can call the dispatch number. Dispatcher will immediately dispatch a police officer to whichever park.
Yes, I don't want park staff to confront or engage the person. They would tell them twice, they would instruct them twice as to what they should be doing. And at that point, if they don't do what they should be doing, then they would call PD. Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I've been listening to my colleagues, Commissioner Suarez, Commissioner Blanca, Commissioner Blanes, and the chief and the major. And I think that my position has changed a little bit onto the side of keeping the parks closed for indefinite time until we can be sure that it's safer to open. Because as I started listening a little more, I started thinking of the safety of our police officers, safety of our park attendants, and having to confront. I'm not talking about physical safety, but this is sort of the invisible war. And when we have these people that, and I understand Blanes' point too, in terms of the not knowing what's open and what's closed. So, my business changed a little bit. My position, I think, is to keep it closed for the time being.
Commissioner Blanes, go ahead, sir.
Just to be clear, the restriction from the county, which we have to abide by, says that children that are over 2 years of age need to have a mask?
Yes.
Okay, think about that. Let's think about that. A 7, an 8, a 9, a 10-year-old that goes to the park and wants to play, wants to run around and sweat and play, and you know, why else are they going to want to go to the park? Imagine they're going to have to wear a mask. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then you're going to have issues with the family, the father, they're going to want their child to go there and have fun. And, what if they don't have a mask? And then, the rec counselor will tell them that he's got to go back home and get a mask. And then the child can play. That's going to enrage the parent. And then if the police is called, now you got the authority there, and they're going to take that as a sort of draconian type of a measure that we're instituting. So I don't know. I think we're opening up ourselves to some issues, and it could turn into something that we don't foresee now, but it could very well happen and put us in a situation that we do not want to be in. So to me, you either open it up and no mask, or you keep it closed.
Well, we can't, thank you, Commissioner, and we can't do that. We cannot do that because we have to be guided by Miami-Dade County's emergency order. We can be more restrictive, not less. So that option is not on the table. We can be more restrictive, but not less.
Okay, well, you got my input.
Okay, so now I know Commissioner Suarez was asking for mine, and I completely understand where everyone's coming from, and all of you have made very, very valid points. My feelings are this. The City of West Miami residents they've done the right thing all along. We've had no issues with social distancing, the wearing of a mask, and as I drive around, I see this. I believe the City of West Miami residents have done the right thing to get us where we are. Cooper Park is roped off with tape. No one that I know of or has seen has stepped foot beyond that tape. So they've been abiding by the restrictions and regulations. John, have you had anyone that's attempted to go into the rec or called? And I mean, the rec, and everyone's been how should I say, adhering to the fact that the rec is closed, correct? Our residents have done the right thing. If I take my family as a parent, I'm going to believe in the good side of human nature right now. I'm going to yield to, the good side, the intelligent side of human nature. If I take my child to a park because I want them to walk on the trail with me, to ride their bike on the trail, because you can bike, you can walk, you can run, you can scooter. If I want to take my child and throw a football or a frisbee in Cooper Park, just like now, if you take your child out now, you're going to put a mask on them. I'm going to want to protect my child. I'm going to put a mask on them. And I think even the children are aware of this. I would like to see Cooper Park open, the open space area, with restrictions, and wait a few days or a week, see how that goes, and then open the rec if that goes well. I just believe that an open space park, yes, our park is not as, I know someone said we're not as big as Tropical, agreed, but I don't foresee a mass influx of people into Cooper Park. And if let's say all of a sudden there are too many people that shouldn't be there, as far as and they can't observe social distancing, well, that's where the park staff would be there. And we could advise that, you know, we've reached our capacity, and we either have to have, you know, some families leave. We could also put in with restrictions as far as time. Maybe we don't have to open it sunrise to sunset. We could open it for a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon. But that would mean a limited time for more people to come in, a limited time versus having it open the whole time. So that's my take. I believe parents, people right now would be okay with restrictions because they've lived through restrictions for the last 30 days. And I feel that we can do this and enforce the restrictions. So I'd be open to opening Cooper Park with said restrictions, maybe even more, and then waiting a few days, a week or so, and doing the rec. That would be my opinion on this. But if everyone is ready, I guess at this point, that's the only thing on the agenda, and we can take a vote. Does anybody have any other comments, concerns? No one? Mr. Penna, you're leaning forward?
The only concern I have, I don't want to hear tomorrow after Miami-Dade County opens their parks, why are our parks closed?
And we will. And actually, you said something that I meant to say and I forgot. Once everyone knows the Miami-Dade County parks are open, that police tape might not be able to keep everyone out.
That's true.
And I foresee that coming from non-residents. I think our residents will follow the rules because they have. I foresee that police tape not keeping others out. And that's going to be a problem as well. So thank you. I meant to say that and I failed to. Yes, Madam Manager, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And obviously there's hesitation because we have been living some very difficult times and we want the best for the city, all of us do. And I think maybe we can phase it in, open Cooper Park for the walking end of it, like you said, the little toddlers riding their bike around the paved area, and then just evaluate it if you would on a daily basis, and open up the rec center next week as we get closer to going back to a sense of normalcy. I would phase it in if you're inclined to doing that. Mayor, you froze. I believe the mayor's not coming through her.
She left.
Probably wait. Has any other commissioner changed their opinion yet? Because now we're going in circles.
Right.
Okay, I think we're all back now. Was I the only one that was gone or did we all leave?
No, you were the only one gone.
Okay, I was gone. I'm back. Madam Manager, I lost you mid-sentence, so if you could repeat what you said, I'm sorry. I
mean, I get everybody's concern and I share those same concerns, and I understand what Commissioner Blanes is saying about children wanting to play and everything, but we could perhaps phase in the opening of the parks and stagger those with 1 week apart from each other. This way we could see the behavior at Cooper Park, evaluate it, get some feedback from our staff members, and then as we walk towards a new norm, we could open up the rec center sometime next week.
Thank you, Madam Manager. John, I see you have your hand up, and I have a question for you as well. Did you say you already have the signage from Miami-Dade County?
Yes, they sent us stuff.
when you say signage, you mean signage that we can post? Is it like a paper? Is it a poster?
It's
What
a-
is it?
Well, it's a paper. I mean, I guess we could print it out bigger, but it says Miami-Dade County and it shows the rules and stuff like that. So the regulation.
Okay, so we have,
Um,
go ahead, and
I
you,
agree with the manager. A lot of the rec stuff, some of this stuff is gonna be impossible to, like, the people playing basketball, they can't share the basketball. So like they
Right.
have to go and get, that stuff seems, how strict am I gonna be on them because they got the ball for somebody else?
okay,
I agree with a phasing in, and maybe by that time it's back to normal by the time we even phase in the rec. I just see the rec as having more amenities that people would want to use, and it's going to draw from more like discomfort with people not being able to do so
I'm
much.
not sure if I'm frozen again because everyone else is frozen.
There we go.
Okay, I think I heard the most of you, most of what you said, John. I don't think I missed anything. I think I understand where you're coming from because I did drop off for a moment there. So overall, what you're saying is possibly open up Cooper Park and then the rec a little bit later. Was that the most of your conversation? Yes? Okay.
Invitó a la hora, te llamo luego.
Okay, thank you, John. Anyone else?
Well, if no one has changed their opinions, I want to make a motion, but I don't want to make it prematurely.
Vice Mayor, you're in and out. Could you repeat, please?
Or if no one has changed their opinions, then I would like to make a motion, but I don't want to make it prematurely.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, I hate to ask you again, but I did not completely clearly hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Sure. If
Vice Mayor,
no one,
I still don't have you.
is it me or
The
her?
vice mayor is frozen and so is the mayor.
All right. Are you good now?
Yeah. Okay, I think you're good now. Speak quickly.
All right.
So I can hear you. Vice Mayor, go ahead.
If no one has
No,
changed
you're
their,
gone again. Sorry, Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. I don't have you.
Gosh.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. Again, I hello, anybody? Can anybody hear me?
yeah.
I hear you.
Okay, John, you're good. I think you and I are the only one live on my screen.
I hear
Everyone
you.
else is frozen.
That's how I like it.
I see everyone.
I am sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Everyone's frozen. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not
okay.
frozen.
Okay. All right, now I think we're here. I think we're back. Vice Mayor, please. I'm sorry to keep asking you. Could you repeat
All right,
what
one more
you said?
time.
Go.
If no one has changed their opinions, then I'd like to make a motion, but I don't want to make it prematurely. So if anyone's changed their opinions, can they speak now?
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. I heard you completely. Commissioner Blanes, you had your hand up.
This is a very, very hard decision to make, but considering the consequences and considering, the amount of resources that we got, and weighing that, I think that we should wait, another 10, 15 days, for the county to change their policy.
Okay, so what Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón said, he's ready to make a motion unless anyone has changed their opinion. Commissioner Blanca, you have your hand up. Go ahead, please.
I think it's too soon to open. We should wait.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing, Vice Mayor, that no one has changed their opinion. If you've changed your opinion from what you had before, please raise your hand. Vice Mayor, I don't see any hands up, so it seems to me that no one has changed their opinion.
All right,
So
this is
proceed
the
with
motion.
proceed with your motion, sir.
This is the motion. It can be amended by anyone, but I move to keep the parks closed indefinitely. If anyone wants to put an amendment on a time there, I say just let's keep it closed until we decide, and we should open them or phase it or whatever. But for now, to close both parks indefinitely, that'll be my motion.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Let me clarify, be sure we all understood what Commissioner Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón said. Indefinitely. Okay, I have a motion, I have a second.
Can there be a friendly amendment?
Yes, the Vice Mayor did say a friendly amendment is possible. Thank you. Commissioner Blanes, go ahead.
You know, let's do it for the next 10 days, and in 10 days, let's reevaluate, you know, what's going on, and then take it from there.
All right, I accept.
Next 10 days.
Okay, Commissioner Blanes has added a friendly amendment to change the indefinite to the next 10 days. Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón accepted Commissioner Blanes's amendment. I have a motion and I have a second. That motion and that second is going to be with the friendly amendment. Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote on
Yes,
the motion and the amendment and the friendly amendment and the second to keep the parks closed for the next 10 days? All parks closed for the next 10 days.
10 days.
Call
Yes,
the vote,
the
please.
motion. Yes. Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Well, until the 10 days and then review in 10 days. Should be that way. I think a friendly amendment to the Vice Mayor could be in that review in 10 days.
So your vote is yes. Commissioner
Yeah,
Blanes.
but I want to be sure that in 10 days we review.
Right, I want to be clear before we vote on that too. My original point was keep it indefinitely so we review. And when Commissioner Blanes made his amendment, he said, let's keep it at 10 days and let's see where that goes. So my understanding is that it's 10 days, but we'll review then.
Okay,
Correct.
perfect. Yes, yes, I vote yes.
Commissioner Blanes, was that your friendly amendment?
I just thought of something here. If within those 10 days, the county changes anything, you know, changes their, you know, their recommendations. I don't know if it's too late now to change my friendly amendment, but, you know, if the county does change within those 10 days, then I think that immediately we should reassess our.
I will call a special meeting, a special commission meeting, sir, if that is done by the county. I believe that will be the need for another special commission meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Madam Manager, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The commission and you may want to consider placing this item again on the May 6th Zoom virtual commission meeting.
I'm sorry, Madam Manager. There's a motion on the table. Can we clear that first?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have a motion on the table. I have Madam Clerk, please continue with the vote call.
Yes, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
No.
4-1, item passes. 2,
Thank you.
keep the park closed for 10 days and reevaluate after such time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And Mr. Attorney, I guess I need to check with you on this. Commissioner Blanes's thought, if anything were to change from the county on this, I can call a special commission meeting to address that, correct? Prior to the 10 days?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Madam Manager, go ahead.
I was just thinking ahead here, because you're going to reevaluate this in 10 days or before, as it may be deemed by the county by another declaration. Would you like this item to appear as a follow-up or for a reconsideration on the May 6th City Commission agenda?
I'm going to say no for 2 reasons. The motion and the vote was for 10 days unless the county changes theirs.
Okay.
So the May 6th meeting is prior to the 10-day period of time. So the only way, based on the vote, that we will be able to review this again and consider an alternative would be if the county changes their emergency order.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'm open to any comment on that. Does anyone see it differently than I do? Vice Mayor, since it was yours, do you see it? Am I correct in what I just said to the manager? Do you agree with me or not?
No, I agree with you.
Okay, perfect. The rest of the commission, are you okay with what I just said? Or do you?
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, next item.
Yes, Madam Mayor, next item is item 5, good of the order.
Does anyone have anything for the good of the order?
No.
Madam Clerk, has anyone requested to join this Zoom meeting? Anyone from the public?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, I guess I do want to say a little something, and I touched on it already. I want to thank the public, City of West Miami residents that have consistently done the right thing in our city. The county being able to relax some of the restrictions. I am very proud of our city. I'm not sure if I'm still here. Can it shake your head if you can hear me? Okay. Did I leave at any point? Okay. So I want to thank the residents, especially the City of West Miami, and all residents all over who have done the right thing and have got us to this point where the county has been able to relax some of the restrictions. If it weren't for everyone doing the right thing, I don't think we would be where we are today. I want to thank, as we've all been doing all along, our first responders, our frontline healthcare professionals that have done so much and worked so hard under such conditions to also get us where we are today. I want to thank my commission. I think we've done exceptionally well, commission and staff. We've done exceptionally well in adjusting to the times, learning how to use Zoom. I believe our meetings have gone exceptionally well, aside from a few technical issues with the internet, and there's nothing we can do about that. But as far as being able to participate in the meetings in a professional manner, I thank you all for that. I know we're all in the same boat. We're all, we have our family issues, our home issues, adhering to these restrictions and living by this new norm has been difficult for all of us. So I thank you for your patience and your willingness to participate and be a part of this new norm that we're all having to live with. So with that said, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.